Hello, guys, and welcome to episode number 7, I think. Has it really been 6 weeks since I've started this? I have no idea. Anyway, 6-7 weeks. Who knows? But yes, welcome. I hope you're enjoying them. I'm enjoying them. We've got someone else on today. If you don't know him by name or by tag on Twitter, then you certainly know by his neck tattoos and Twitter selfies. So, Mr. Guest, if you'd like to introduce yourself, who are you and who are you?
My name is Mike, but everybody knows I account FootieShirtz. Yeah, and as you say, the neck tattoos.
Yeah, if you listen to the episode, for you, because we're recording this on Friday the 23rd, so for you, it'll be out tomorrow or Sunday, but for everyone watching, it would have been last week's episode. We reference you a lot, like an ungodly amount, to the extent where it sounds like me and Addy are camped outside your house. It's like he keeps referring to. Obviously, you talk a lot about your Bayern shirts. He's like, so I found this, and then you respond and all that. But you were brought up a good 10 times, maybe.
Yeah, I have spoken to him. He did mention that happened a little bit. Yeah. But, I mean, that's a good thing. It's good.
Well, it depends how you look at it. So we can't start without asking. So what are you wearing?
Oh, well, what, this old thing?
That old tatty thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's up with the favourite shirt I own, obviously for obvious reasons. I mean, it's incredible, but I think owning shirts like this, it comes with a fear of actually wearing them out of the house. Or, I mean, I got 2 kids under the age of 4, and I got 2 dogs. So wearing it in the house, almost, it just doesn't happen. So on an occasion like this, where I'm locked away in a room and nobody can actually touch me, then I'm happy to put it on. But yeah, so this is the 97 version of the Wizard's Home. Yeah, it's become a little bit of a side collection, trying to gather these ones up, but yeah, not easy.
Yeah, you do have a handsome amount going on. It was 3 or 4, is it?
I got 3 of them now. Yeah, there's just about to see the sleeves hanging up there. They so basically they've got a few of the rainbow ones, which obviously they're desirable ones. There's another version of this one which I would love to get, where the crest just says Wiz, simply just Wiz. But again, that one, getting hold of it is unlikely. So yeah, so I didn't even really aim for it, but then so like somebody who the guy I bought this shirt off was kind enough to send me a link for the one with the waves across. So I managed to pick that one up, and then it became a bit more of a challenge. I've got to get the others now as well. And then yeah, I found. Sorry, I got that wrong anyway. No, the one with the waves I got from a nice chap in America that goes by the name of Soccer Shirts, actually. And then, yeah, the third one that I got was sent to me by 12 Man Shirts, who I bought this one from. So managed to get the one with the coloured sleeves as well. And yeah, I think the problem is once you've got 2 or 3 of them, and there's a couple more, you kind of got to get them.
Legally, I think you have to.
Legally, it's a legally binding thing. I absolutely have to, yeah. But the one I want the most is the away version of this, so the white one. But yeah, it's not proven easy because I'm picky and I only buy in my size. If I was happy just to grab anything, I might be able to get it even for a small fortune. But it has to be my size, otherwise it doesn't count.
Fair. I'm wearing the year I forgot. Is it 2000 Bayern Munich away shirt?
Yes, 2000, yeah.
I thought so. I thought I'd wear Bayern for yourself, which we will touch on shortly. And because of my framing, you may also spot my joggers. So these are some Napoli joggers that I got from Classic Football Shirts. They're incredibly comfortable.
I didn't even know Napoli joggers were a thing, to be honest.
Neither did I, and they were on the clearance section a couple of years ago. I was like, them for a tenner? Yes. Why not have some camo football branded things to lounge around the flat in?
Yeah. If you don't own something of Napoli that's camo, then you're not doing it properly. So yeah.
Exactly. And this is the only Napoli camo thing I own. So for those who don't know you, you're I don't want to say your location, but you're Midlands based and you're a Villa fan.
Right, yeah.
football fandom and support is very personal for people, but why Villa?
That's a good question. I ask myself the same things. No, it's actually there is a bit of a story with me becoming a Villa fan. Mainly because my entire family are Liverpool fans, and big Liverpool fans as well. My dad's old school. You know, he grew up watching football in the 60s and the 70s. He would travel on the road, watch Liverpool home away. You know, hitchhike down the motorway, all that sort of thing. Proper old school. And I can remember the day I started supporting Aston Villa because it was the 1994 FA Cup final day. So Manchester United played Chelsea, I think it was, in the replay, and United won the game. And I was about 10 at the time, so I wanted to watch the trophy presentation. You know, I was just hitting that age to sort of understand what it was. And my dad, being a Liverpool fan, took major offence to the idea of Liverpool fan watching Manchester United lift the FA Cup. So he basically started telling me I was a traitor and I'm no Liverpool supporter because, that's just the way my dad was. And for some reason, I literally just sort of like, fine, I'm not supporting Liverpool anymore. And he was like, okay, who are you going to support then? So the first thing I did, obviously, as any 10-year-old would do, was thought about my Premier League sticker book. And I went in alphabetical order. So the first thing I blurted out was, I'm going to support Arsenal. And then for some reason, I changed my mind and went to the second in the book. I think, believe it or not, it actually goes down to the fact that when I picked to support Aston Villa, the away kit was the Muller Asics, black, red, green. And I just remember that as a little shiny sticker in my book. I swear I picked Aston Villa based on that kit, essentially, because they were second in the book and my favourite kit. And then from that day, I supported Aston Villa. And that's how it came about, which isn't your standard story. Most people are born into it, or it's their local club. But no, I actually picked to support Aston Villa, would you believe?
You're probably one of 10 people who can say that.
Yeah, 10's probably, yeah.
In recent years, I know they've been successful in the past. They don't stop talking about it. But
don't forget this season. We're title push this year.
Exactly. Yeah. If the season ends now, null and void it.
Coronavirus is bad. If we end it now and we go on a points per game ratio, then I'm happy with that. We'll do it.
Yeah. I mean, would you still come second to Everton? I don't know. But looking at your Twitter and your shirts and stuff, 3rd of April 2020 was a significant date because you were Mr. Bayern Munich for the day.
Yes, I was. That was a bit weird.
I've just gone on your Twitter to find that. I don't remember the date off the top of my head. But you have I'd say a little pocket of Bayern shirts. It's a bit more than a little pocket. Do you want to tell us how many Bayern shirts you've got?
Can you sit that whole bottom row there?
That whole row? Yeah.
So I've got my home shirt, and then there's one tucked away in there because it's a new one. All my new arrivals go into the end there, ready to be photographed for Instagram, obviously. But yeah, that's the Bayern shirts. Which obviously, in fact, that double row is just all German football shirts.
Wow, okay.
It's all Bayern on the bottom. Yeah, it's become a bit of an obsession quite quickly, really. And it all started. I'll pull the one out if I can find it. Excuse my tiny little chair that I stole off my toddler.
That's fine. I'm quite envious of it, actually.
So yeah, this one. That's where it all started. That was bought for me by my wife for Christmas one year. I'd not long started kind of properly collecting shirts, and I told her I wanted to buy in Munich, and as she always does, she came through. She got me this one for Christmas, and it was kind of a slippery slope from there, really.
As always.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think once you got one, you start to look into it a little bit more, and that's exactly what I did. And I knew some of the old shirts that Bayern had, back from the mid '90s and stuff. And the Commodore sponsored ones. Everybody knows, but yeah, once I started looking into it, I thought, you know what, they got quite a few that I like, and then I picked up a few more, and it spiraled. In all honesty, and the problem is, I think it's the same as anything. I think once you start like a particular collection, you do get a little obsessive with it, and yeah. I remember looking back over my eBay transactions. I think over the course of 6 months, I bought nothing but Bayern shirts. It was every week there was 2 or 3 turning up, and then that's how I get to that point. And I'm not sure on the actual number in there. It's got to be around 80 or so in total, because it's predominantly most of the home, away, and third shirts since '93, plus a couple from before that, a couple of the specials, a few goalkeepers thrown in. Yeah. So I try not to count because it scares me if I count numbers.
It's difficult when you're looking at just the sleeves because it doesn't tell the full picture, because all mine are hung up and I can look in the wardrobe and it looks like I've got about 30, but I know well sure it's not 30. But I know what you mean by that. So I can't remember if I was speaking to them or I heard it in a podcast with someone, but I think it was Doug from Class Football Shirts who said that with collecting shirts, I think that the thrill comes from finding and then buying the shirt, waiting for it. And then when you get it, you're like, it's a bit underwhelming when it arrives, because you're like, okay, what's the next one? And I think that kind of agrees with the slippery slope and how you can easily spiral into a branch of a collection after just getting 1 or 2 shirts.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I know where he's coming from with that, because I think the problem with it, especially if you've got, the thing I love about collecting is everybody's got their own way of doing it. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. It's great seeing how different everybody does it. But with me, with that you touched on, that is kind of how I get a little bit, because I do get super excited about a shirt when it's on its way. Like I've got a couple of Bayern shirts on the way now that I'm waiting for, and it's like I can't wait for them to get here. But then you are right, because you try it on, you think, oh, it looks great. And for people like me, we put a pic on Instagram and Twitter and everything. And you're right, the focus immediately switches to, right, what's the next one? And it becomes an obsession. It does, especially. I'm very fortunate to be in a situation to be able to buy a lot of shirts. Having a 3-meter wardrobe built into my main bedroom, not everybody has the luxury of that for the space and so on. So, I'm fortunate to be able to, as soon as I have got that shirt, start looking for the next one. And yeah, like you say, slippery slope, definite.
So I did forget to ask, roughly how many shirts do you have? If you know the number, amazing. But if you had to hazard a guess, because I think, just going off what I can see in the background and what you shared on Twitter, I think you might be the person I've spoken to with the largest collection so far. We did have a count up not too long ago, actually. I decided to have I had a weekend off work, which is rare to have a whole weekend off. So I said to my wife, my kids are on the nap, I'm whipping all the shirts out. I'm in a big sort out. Some can move on now because, I'm starting to run out of room a little bit. And she said, fine. She said, but she's going to count them as I put them away. And the reason she wanted to do that is because she's fed up for the last 2 years of me claiming I've only got about 200. As she kept saying, you can't keep saying the same answer over and over when new shirts. 3 years, Mike. You can't.
Yeah, it pretty much was. It was at least 2 years that I was saying it's about 200. So yeah, she insisted on counting them as I put them away. So every bunch that I put away, how many was that? She counted them all up, and strangely enough, I was on 499 on the day we counted. And the next shirt to arrive was that grail for me, that 1993 Aston Villa away shirt, the one that basically made me decide to support Aston Villa. That literally arrived the day after. So that was my 500th shirt into my collection. And there's been a few more still since then as well. So I think it's probably around 530, 540 at the moment. Yeah.
That's a good shirt to get for your 500th though.
It is, and it's amazing how it worked out, because I never would have counted them if my wife wasn't so insistent on doing it just to, prove a point to me, which and it was good. It was nice, actually. It was good to get that one, knowing that's exactly what it was, because, as I say, to look back and know that essentially it was one of the reasons I started supporting Aston Villa, and I love Villa through and through now, win or lose. So to get that one into my collection as like a little bit of a milestone as well, it was nice. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't really look just at the numbers of a collection. Like, I'm not the sort of person, that I get quite frustrated sometimes when I see someone on Instagram or Twitter put their collection on. There's 30 or 40 shirts, and someone else goes, "Oh, that's not a collection. You've only got 30 shirts." That's nonsense. I don't care if a collection is 550 or 5,000. It's all about what you want to collect. It's about the quality and what they mean to you. And I can't claim that all 500 of them mean that much to me. but the bulk of them, I have got through going through certain channels to collect certain collections within it. So so now, I've had 2 more turn up today. Actually, I'll show you what they are. I think they're actually here. So
we have an exclusive.
Oh, yeah, a little bit, yeah. This is from a guy. This was actually sorted for me by a guy called Kenny Legg on Twitter, and the guy's an absolute legend. He's really helped me out with a couple of things. So yeah, my first Valerenga shirt.
Oh,
yeah,
very nice.
A nice little Adidas one. Quite happy with that. And the other thing that I got from Kenny, I think you'll like this one personally. So,
I do.
Yeah,
I do indeed.
I don't do a lot in the way of sort of like the training and the leisure wear, but if it's Adidas and 90s, you're not going to say no to that, are you?
Not at all.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So yeah, and then the last thing that I got coming from Germany today is it's incredible, and it's part of a collection I'm putting together. So these are my Bayern Munich lederhosen.
Oh, have you got them?
Yeah, I have. I've got them. I found them in Germany. But the postage on them was about 28 quid just to get them posted over, or
worth
25. I got even better than that because, as I say, the very kind guy Kenny actually purchased them, had them sent to him, and then posted them onto me along with the other bits as well. So saved me an absolute fortune on postage. So I've got the lederhosen shorts to go with my jacket. I have the hat. It is literally just the socks I can't find. So, but the hat's just a special piece of Bayern. What would you call it? It's memorabilia, I suppose.
Yeah, paraphernalia. I don't really know where it would fall, but I'm
not really sure. But yeah, my wife's not keen apparently. Apparently when I tell her she can pretend I'm Xabi Alonso, it means absolutely nothing to her, and she just looks at me like I'm a weirdo. But yeah, it's. Yeah, I'll have to get the full kit on soon and put a little picture on Twitter and Instagram in that one.
I certainly do look forward to that. So you touched on how you like Villa. I know for a fact that you also do go to games. I think we both share the last game that we went pre-lockdown, which was the Carabao Cup final. When I had to mention it with obviously I'm guessing you have quite a large pocket of Villa shirts. When you go to a game, do you particularly decide which shirt to wear? Do you pick it? Like, obviously, the final was a bit different. Everyone wanted to dress up for that a bit. But if you just go into a game against Burnley, would you? I'm a bit. I'm really the biggest thing on me when I'm picking a shirt, no matter what I'm picking it for, whether it's to go and play, go to a Villa game, go. I don't know, just when I went to London to see the CFS shop and all that stuff, I had a selection of shirts to pick from just to know what to wear. And I'm the same when I go to Villa. So I'm terrible. I'll have a Villa shirt that I'm going to wear in the car on the way up, and I'll probably have a couple in my bag just to see which one I feel like wearing when I get there. And it's ridiculous. It really is. But I've got a couple of little strange superstitions. So last season, I was lucky enough to share a season ticket, and I had it for pretty much most of the season, all bar 1 or 2 games, to be honest. And the way I pick my shirts, I would wear the one I want to wear for a week. If we lost, it would go away, and it wasn't worn again that season because I just saw it as a bit of a jinx. But I wouldn't say there's any sort of rhyme or reason behind the ones that I pick for a certain game. The one thing I don't mind wearing away shirts to home games, but I won't wear one that's the colour of the away side. So yeah, if we're playing a team in yellow, there's no way I'm wearing a yellow Villa shirt. It just doesn't seem quite right. I wish I almost made that mistake against Watford actually, because just to annoy Kieran from Sartorial Soccer, I was going to actually wear one of my Villa goalkeeper shirts because he said I shouldn't, and then I realised the one I wanted to wear was yellow, and I didn't want to look like a Norwich fan, sorry, Watford fan, but there's no, definitely no sort of pattern to my picks. Just I think it's what I feel on the day, same as most people, I think. Yeah, I mean, when I go, I tend to try and always wear that season shirt, and then if not, it's whichever one I grab first. Although for the cup final, I did wear the 90. I actually wore a goalkeeper shirt. So sorry, Sartorial Soccer. I wore the 97 to 99 City goalkeeper shirt, the away one, so the orange one. And I did certainly get some looks, and some bloke was talking to me on the tube about it. He was just staring at it. I was like, "That's in really good condition." And I was like, "Yeah, it was a lucky find as well."
Yeah. It's I like the. I mean, if you've got a genuine old shirt and it's in good condition, it's a conversation starter at games now. I mean, I remember first game I went to at Villa Park last season. I wore the Hummel sort of like 87, 89 home shirt, and I was stopped about 6, 7, 8 times, just people going, that shirt's amazing. And I think people have started to clock which are the sort of like, even if you're not necessarily into shirts, they've clocked what are the legit shirts and what are like the sort of like the score draw retro sort of thing. You know, those are cool and everything else. They're not my cup of tea, but yeah, you know, they're cool. But I think people are starting to appreciate the original, the legit shirts from back in the day a little bit more. So like with your goalkeeper shirt, I think that, you know, people are gonna comment on it and gonna say things, because, you know, you don't see that many at the games. It's, as you say, most people, they stick with the current shirt, which for me, in all the times I went to Villa last year, I didn't wear the current shirt once, actually, not a single time. I don't know why, no actual reason for that.
It just dawned upon you.
Yeah, it just dawned on me then. I didn't do it, yeah. I mean, admittedly, I'm quite tight when I buy shirts, and like, it's very rare that I pay full price for something. So I know if I'm going to Villa in the 2021 season, it's unlikely I'll have their shirt. I mean, typically this year I do have the home shirt, so if we manage to get back, I might actually wear the current shirt. But it's very rare I've got the current shirt. You know, I'll probably usually buy it after the season's finished, just because I think when you collect shirts, it's not that easy to pay full price all the time, because, you know, I don't think anybody could afford to do that every single time, to be honest. So, well, I could, but it would decimate my budget to buy other shirts. So, yeah.
Yeah, everyone could. So before we jump into your collection, I want to know one last thing. What got you into collecting? If you can.
Do you know what? It's a strange one, because it's with the shirt exchange page that we do. Me and Addy now runs with me, which is brilliant. We do the sort of like the Friday feature every week, and, you know, it's one of the questions that I ask people, you know, what got you into collecting? But it's such a hard question to answer, because I don't think many people know what got them into it. I think it just kind of happens. You just kind of realize that you're collecting football shirts, and you realize at some point that all your life since you were a kid, when you've watched football, the kits and the shirts have kind of been one of the things that stick out for you the most, because most football memories for me from when I was in, you know, I don't know, when I was 10, 11, 12, whatever, even back to when, you know, my family was supporting Liverpool. I think of Liverpool. I think of the kits first. It's the first thing I do. One of my earliest football memories is watching Liverpool versus Sunderland in the FA Cup final. And all I can see is that Sunderland away shirt and that Liverpool home shirt. That's literally it. So I think that kits and shirts have just always been a massive part of football for me. And then when I started kind of like buying a few football shirts here and there, because I played Sunday League and Saturday League, and we all love wearing a football shirt for training and stuff like that, then I think eventually I kind of just said to my wife one day, it just come out of the blue, I was like, you know what, I think I actually want to start, you know, I want to call it a collection. I want it to be a collection, not just, oh, you know, I got a few football shirts in the drawer. I want to start looking at what I'm buying a little bit more and kind of delve into it a little bit. And that's the key. When you start to delve into the world of football shirt collecting, it isn't just about having a few hanging in your rail. Anybody that's watching this and then yourself will know there's so much more to it than just a football shirt. So I think that's it. Like everybody else, kind of just ended up on that slippery slope that we keep talking about.
And obviously there's so many. Some teams releasing 3 a season, and then you've got jackets, which I know you're a fan of, I'm a fan of. You've got training shirts, which some people aren't a massive fan of. Some people go for specifically match worn or shirts that are worn in matches. But there's a lot.
There is. It's difficult with. I mean, a lot of people will disagree. I'm a fan of 3 shirts a season. The problem is I'm a football shirt enthusiast, so the more shirts I see, the better. The good thing for me is I think I think it was yourself who touched on it, or somebody has recently, about the pressure of buying a new football shirt. And I'll be honest with you, it's not something I feel. That's why even with my buying collection, my Villa collection, you know, most of the time I don't have the new shirt straight away, because I don't feel that pressure to buy a shirt when it's released. And, you know, every year we get a home, away, and a third, I'll look at them and I might prioritise one of them. If I look at them and I go, actually, I really like this year's, like Villa's third shirt last year, I fell in love with it the minute I saw it. And I thought, you know, I may buy that for full price. And that's what I tend to do, you know. But I know it's difficult. Three shirts a year, you know, 20 clubs in the league. I know not everybody's going to be able to do that. And that's why I think a lot of people are not too keen on it. But yeah, for me, the more shirts, the better.
So, jumping more into your collection, my first question is normally any themes or eras of kits, but obviously we know you have specific branches in the tree of collection that you have. But is there any kind of like overview theme or?
I would say, as much as nowadays there isn't actually necessarily a theme to the collection, there is still the part of it that probably means the most to me and is kind of like has the most, I don't know, effect on me, even in a nostalgia point of view. Just, the shirts that like I was touching on earlier kind of take me back to being a teenager again, and it for me it'll always be 90s football shirts. Like they're the pinnacle for me. If I could only pick one sort of shirt to collect, it would be 90s Adidas football shirts. That's kind of like where I think that's where the whole football kit obsession started for me, to be honest. I think, again, another one of your favorites, the 94 Germany shirt, it's just one, everybody loves it. And those shirts are just, they're the best for me. I've got a few different ones from different clubs and nations and whatever, but yeah, the Adidas equipment template shirts and all that stuff, I love it. And yeah, I think that would be where my heart is with football shirts. But the collection itself, I think that the problem is, again, when you're as fortunate as I am to be in a position to be able to buy a lot of football shirts, and it's all I spend my money on, to be honest with you. I'm boring. I don't drink. I'm teetotal. So instead of spending money on beer, I spend money on football shirts instead. So yeah, my collection, it doesn't really have one focal point as such. As again you've said already, I've got my Bayern collection, and I say the double rail there. As I say, I saw German shirts, because I think I'd probably just about say that German football shirts probably are my favourite. Just running throughout, and even from the old Bundesliga shirts even down to like some of the lower division, even the old, again, Adidas template shirts. When you find a random German sort of like lower league club with a 94 Adidas template, it's brilliant. It's so that sort of thing is amazing. But yeah, I'd say it's varied now. Nothing, old shirts, new shirts, anything.
Wherever you can get your hands on, yeah. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that your favourite manufacturer is Adidas then.
Yeah, it is. It is. I know a lot of people are not overly keen, and a lot of people are certainly not keen on what they're churning out nowadays. I'm probably just a little bit too loyal for my own good with them, really, because I know that some of the shirts recently haven't been as good as recent years. The creativity is starting to die down a little bit, and this year, as much as it pains me to say it, Nike are probably producing the better shirts out of the two. And you've still got other manufacturers doing good stuff as well. But for me, yeah, I think Nike this year are just about kind of overtaken Adidas, for me personally, is sort of my favourite for this season. But on the whole, yeah, without a doubt, it's Adidas. Everything, the old Bayern shirts back to the old MLS stuff, everything. One of my earliest memories, again, World Cup '94, Germany and Bulgaria and Sweden and Norway. Norway is the unsung hero of that World Cup. I'm telling you, those two, that home and away, are the best from that World Cup, and nobody brings it up if they talk about it. but yeah, so yeah, Adidas probably, yeah, even now, even with a bit more of a boring couple of seasons, I'd still say they're up there for me, the best.
If you could have Villa with any manufacturer, would it be Adidas, or would you go for a more a nostalgic one with like Hummel, or how are you enjoying the days of Kappa now? Or
I don't mind the Kappa shirts personally. I'm a big fan of Kappa. Again, we touched on it when I spoke to you on the podcast about the Kappa shirts. The quality for the first season was lacking a little bit, but they say they've addressed it for this year. And I picked up the home shirt from this season. In fact, I'm going to grab it. This is one of the problems when you've got so many, you can't actually find it when you're looking for it.
Do you have a particular way you store them? Like, do you know where everything is? Is it colour coordinated, or is it just?
It's actually not nearly as organised as I usually have it at the moment, because going to sound so particular. So this little section here, as I say, is anything new that arrives that I haven't photoed yet. And then it goes in, and at the moment, because of a few photos I took a couple of weeks ago, it kind of goes goalkeeper, sort of like, and then into aways in colours. So I've got my greens and my whites, and then into all my home shirts. Usually, I even go as far as they're usually in age order. And then they usually go this way in age, home, away, whatever. But a little bit unorganised at the moment.
Caught you in a bad time.
The new one, because as you were talking about Kappa, the quality of this season is brilliant. Like, I don't know how much you can see on there, but this badge, is the detail is incredible, and that was the stuff they were putting on the elite standard, the elite player fit ones last year. So they brought it over onto the standard stuff, and I got that on eBay for £23, and it was legit as well. So
wow.
I know, brand new with tags when it arrived and everything. Unbelievable. I'm a bit weird. I love cutting off the tags on a new football shirt as well, which would give a lot of people an absolute nightmare because they leave it on for forever. Now mine get cut off. I got a big drawer of them. I haven't even worn it yet, but it still has to come off. I like Kappa. I like what they've done. I think on the whole, last season's designs were probably a little bit better than this year's, but I still like this year's. They're still good. But going back to what you said about who would I like to see Villa in. It is Adidas. I'd love to see it. When we made the switch to Kappa, there was kind of a lot of rumours on Villa Twitter and stuff that it was going to be either Adidas or Kappa, because one of our owners apparently has got some sort of ties to Adidas. So there was a big link there, and I thought for me it's a no lose situation, because I love both of them anyway. But with Adidas being my favourite, it would be, personally, I'd love to see Villa, a claret and blue Adidas kit would just be amazing. I think it was a few seasons back, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Real Sociedad had a claret and blue Adidas away shirt, and it's literally, when I look at it, I think that's exactly what Aston Villa home shirt should look like if Adidas made it.
Had a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, we got the blueprint there already, but then at the same time, like you say, when you say we would have liked the nostalgic feel, Hummel are kicking out some incredible stuff, especially when it comes to the sort of they're influenced by the old shirts. So the idea of having Hummel come in and do something like that for Villa would be nice. I mean, Kappa did the little nod to that Hummel away for last year, and it was nice, but not quite on the same level as the Hummel shirt. So yeah.
Do you remember what your first shirt was that got you into collecting, or is that just a mere memory now?
No, I can remember it, and the reason I can remember it is because the first football shirt, will say the first real football shirt that I was ever given, because when I was a kid, I grew up. We weren't very well off, so I was given a lot of fake football shirts when I was a kid. And when I say fake football shirts, anybody that my age will remember this. You're a little bit younger, so you might not have ever had to deal with this. But there was a time when football shirts came as almost a bare template, and your mum used to stitch the badge on herself. So that was something that I had a lot of when I was a kid, because my mum, we couldn't afford it. And then one year, I think. It was. I must have only been about 8 or so. One year, I remember opening up my Christmas presents, and my nan, this most random thing in the world, she's not into football in any way, but my nan had bought me, as an 8 or 9-year-old, the Germany 1990 home shirt. Yeah, which was random. But I wore that thing to death. I swear. I mean, I got it when I was about 8. I reckon my mum would have had to peel it off me when I was about 13, because I just remember wearing it any opportunity I had. And funny, that's the thing, for my first real football shirt memory to be such a massive football shirt for collectors. So that was it really. That was the first one. That was the one that kind of got, even at that age when I was 8, 9, seeing the Germany flag and some sort of on the shirt, it was new to me. So yeah, that's definitely what did it. I can say that 100%.
Do you still have it, or do you now have an adult's version? Not an adult's version, because I know you're fortunate enough to be able to squeeze into a large boy shirt.
No. If anybody's got one in an extra large boy style, I'll definitely take it off their hands. No, I have owned it again since. But I moved it on a little while back, not in my size. I was fortunate enough to win Damien from RB Classic Soccer Jerseys. I was lucky enough to win his Instagram competition. I won the 1988 version of the shirt for free, which obviously he sent over to me, and I kept it in my collection for a little while. But then as it started to grow, I kind of made a really difficult decision, because I had quite a few shirts that weren't in my size, and I decided that I was going to just move them on and replace them with the same shirt, and then I let the Germany one go, and then finding a small was so much harder than I anticipated it being. I don't know if it's just because, back everything was massive in the 90s, wasn't it? So, the smalls were probably given to 10-year-old kids, not adults, and probably got wrecked. But it's not one that I own now, but I do. It's not one that I own now, but it's one that's definitely on my radar to get again. And it's a strange one, because I don't usually get pulled into the shirts that everybody wants, if you know what I mean. Like, I love them. It's brilliant. They're the iconic shirts, they're amazing, but I don't necessarily go after them. But because of what that one is and how it was my first real football shirt that I had, it's definitely something I have to get again at some point. Definitely.
Not only is it a collector's dream thing, it's a nostalgic point of view as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So are there any, going off your Twitter and what you share, you're quite, and you mentioned earlier, you're also quite the bargain hunter. What is the best steal that you have had? And there have been some good ones. So the episode coming out this weekend with Addy, I unboxed my Bayern jacket, which I messaged you about, and I was like, it's 50 quid, I've got a steal. And you're like, well, I got mine for £6. And I was like, yeah, that's good for you.
Yeah, yours is in a little bit better condition than mine. My badge is a little bit faded. I need to get some one embroidered on or something. But either way, I think that one of the things, sometimes it sounds really stupid, but I almost feel like I got a bit of a point to prove, because I understand that not everybody agrees with me, but I'm very preachy on the whole fake shirts thing as well. Like, it's not something I'm a big fan of, and I want people to see that you don't have to spend a ridiculous amount of money to get a good football shirt. And that's for me, it's about trying to negate the argument that we can't afford a good football shirt, so we have to buy the fakes. And so that's why I'm really open about what I pay for shirts. I don't hide where I get them from. I don't. A lot of people who buy football shirts are so secretive of their sources. Oh no, I can't tell anybody that. It's not some really dark place that I'm finding these. It's just eBay, it's just Depop. It's about setting up the right searches. It's about being patient. The one thing I will say, just in case she watches this, it's also about having a good wife who actually looks for you whilst you're at work, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have half of what I've got. So I was going to
say, there's the amount of time where you've shared a shirt and everyone's been like, oh my god, it's amazing. He's like, I've got to credit the missus for this one, she found this, and everyone's just been like, oh my god, is she single?
Exactly, like the Villa away, the 93, the Aztecs one. I was literally at work and she couldn't get hold of me, so she bought it. She bid on it, she bought it. She knew how much I'd want to pay for it, and she did it. And she sent it to me with a screenshot. I've still got on my phone of it just saying, "Congratulations, you're the highest bidder," and that's it. And yeah, so that is one of the reasons I get my bargains. But yeah, no, I think that it's some of it is right time, right place. Of course it is. But the other thing, people often message me. They go, "Oh mate, where do we buy good cheap shirts from?" And I'm like, talk to people. Make friends online. Talk. If you see someone on Twitter with good shirts, drop them a DM. Speak to them, because a lot of these people, they help you. And if you're buying from collector to collector, it's significantly cheaper than going through the sellers. Don't get me wrong, I use the sellers because some of them are brilliant. I bought the Bayern Champions League shirt from TSB and Calcio earlier the year. I've been looking for that shirt for so long, and I finally got it, and I picked it up. And I use classic football shirts for some of the bargain stuff as well. And it's trying to kind of get rid of that idea that fake shirts are cheaper than buying the real thing, because they're not. They are 100% not, especially with the way some of them are being sold now as well. So yeah, that's the main thing. But I've got a couple that spring to mind when you say what are the best bargains I've had, and I know where they are as well.
While you grab them, I will mention I did like the person on Twitter who tweeted Back4, who, if you don't know who Back4 are, they're like an agency which stop counterfeit goods on it being sold, because many different the IP property and all that. But someone was saying that they're just buzzkills because they're stopping his kid getting cheap shirts. It's like, yeah, cheap fake shirts which are made in bad conditions, and they're like, we're just doing our job. Like,
it is that thing. Like, people are entitled to their own opinion, and the one thing I've never done is ever told anybody that their ideas are wrong. I just try and give them a counter argument to that. And I have received a little bit of abuse and some negative feedback. I think once I was told I had a Tory energy about me because I don't like football the fake football shirts. But hey, you know. But still, yeah, it's the money thing is one argument, but like you say, there is so many other things with fake football shirts. Like, for me, a lot of people buy them for kids, and what people are not looking into is, you know, a lot of this stuff, it doesn't pass like the fire safety tests and things like that. And, you know, those shirts are made out of man-made materials that will simply melt to a child's skin should anything happen to it. And I know people would say I'm boring and yeah. But as a person with kids, you know, it's something that I think about, and the idea that, you know, they could just walk past something and that's it. You know, they can be really seriously hurt because these things are not safe for kids to wear, as well as the other sort of like moral and ethical issues with fake shirts. But that is a whole other chat, really, isn't it, if we really start going into that?
Yeah, we'll put that to one side.
Yeah, we'll go back to bargains. But yeah, so this is the first one. So this one I paid about 18 quid for, and that's that one.
Yeah, I saw that one as you were sitting down. Is that long sleeve as well?
No.
Oh, sorry. The one in your hand, it looked like it was another sleeve. But yeah, that is incredible.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's perfect condition. One of my best shirts. This template as well. Literally, I would, if I could afford it, I would buy every single football shirt that was made in this template. It is just perfect. But yeah, that's one of them. So that, as I say, that one, I think including postage would have been about 20 quid.
Wow.
And then to tag along with that one.
Yeah.
That one, including postage, cost me about 7 quid.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it was eBay a little bit before this whole boom in the football shirts.
Yes,
but,
yeah.
So prices would be a little bit higher should it be on there now. However, it's still what I paid for it. Yeah. And I still get them now, you know. The bargains are there. They really, really are. I've picked up... we all know it. That one. Yeah. I think I paid £40 for it on eBay on an open auction. And this is the thing. I think that the prices for a start on football shirts, they are starting to drop again. You know, the sort of like the lockdown madness has gone a little bit now. So they are starting to drop a little. And the crazy thing is, I think that because there are so many fakes on the market now, it's actually possibly bringing the price back down, because I think that some people have now started to realize that these shirts are fake. And they're a little bit worried about bidding on things on eBay. Like the reason I think that Villa shirt I got it for 23 quid is I think people were scared to death that it wasn't a legit shirt. Because, you know, you go onto eBay, you type in Aston Villa for this season, you can buy a fake one for 25 quid on there. But obviously being a collector and you look into it a little bit more, you know, some of us know a little bit more what to look for to know that it's legit. So, you know, it was easy for me to do that. But yeah, it's the bargains that they're still there to be had. They really are. I am fortunate that I'm a size small because, you know, not everybody wants a size small, but even so, they're there to be had. You've really just got to be patient with it. And that's one thing I am. I'm always patient. I never really get so frustrated that I pay a ridiculous amount of money for a shirt unless it's something brand new that I'm scared I'm not going to get, like the new Bayern human race collab from today that everybody is hating on Twitter. I'm
very mixed responses on that. I'm saying I'm personally not a massive fan, but I can see the appeal.
It's a difficult one, like, because I don't mind them. I mean, I don't necessarily think they're incredible or anything like that, but I don't mind them. I don't think they're awful. The Bayern one for me is definitely the best of the bunch as well. So I'm very fortunate because that was the one that I obviously would have wanted and did pick up today. but it's a difficult one, because I do get a little bit frustrated because, you know, again, it's that thing, everybody's like, they're awful, why would you waste your money on that? I've said it to Addy before, like, you know, I genuinely think there's no such thing as a bad football shirt, just one you don't like. And that's the thing, you know, just because, you know, I like it doesn't mean the next guy has to. And in the same vein, if everybody's saying they hate it, but I do, I'll still buy it. You know, I'm never swayed by that. But so yeah, so sometimes I do spend a bit more if I'm like with those ones. There's the risk of a sellout, and you think, well, I'm not going to get it otherwise. But yeah, bargains are better. The bargains are the best.
On the reverse, then, do you what's the most expensive shirt you own, and if you're comfortable saying how much?
The most I've paid for?
Yeah,
the one I'm wearing.
Yeah,
I don't mind saying how much. I paid £130 for this, which is still cheap in my opinion. Find it in mint condition. It's the summer version, which is like a basketball mesh type.
Yeah, from the pictures that you put up of it, it's is it Airtex? Is that what it was called? Is that similar to what it was? I don't know.
To what that was, yeah. I don't know if that's what they called it back then. You know, I'll be honest with you. When it comes to sort of like the name, there's all the aero ready stuff. That's not something I'm particularly.
That's not my bag.
But yeah, no. This £130 is the most I've ever spent on a shirt. It's very, very rare that I'll break the £100 mark for a football shirt. In fact, I only remember doing it on one other shirt, which was that Bayern Munich Champions League shirt. There are other ones I've looked at, and you know, I've been tempted, and some maybe that I've lost out on eBay that I maybe would have paid a bit more for, and then didn't. I mean, there was a couple of Villa shirts. We had 2 seasons with Under Armour, and there were 2 third shirts that were never commercially available. They were made up. Apparently, so I've heard, is the idea that it was an emergency shirt should we have ever had a kit clash with our home and away. And I remember the one time, I'm going to be annoying and grab them as well. Yeah, so it was this one. I don't know if you can see, there's like almost like a snowflake type pattern in it. Yeah, I love it, and it was amazing. It was being banded around on eBay for silly amounts of money, and I remember putting a bid in of up to £125 for one on one day, and I was outbid in the last second, and I was livid because that's exactly what I do to everybody else. And I didn't win it. Yeah, but then literally, I think it was 24, maybe 48 hours later, one showed up on Depop for £35. And I bought it immediately. And the guy is great. I chat to him quite a lot now on Twitter. And yeah, he's brilliant. And then he also had the other third shirt as well. So I ended up getting both of them in the space of about a week from each other. And I think in total I paid about £115 for the 2. And yeah, with the prices that they were going for individually at the time, that was amazing. So those would have been up there should I have not found a bargain yet again. But yeah, no, I think, like I say, I mean, I think I've only really cracked the £100 mark maybe twice. I'm trying to think just in case, because I put a lot of my stuff on Twitter, and someone's probably going to call me out and go, hang on a minute, you said you paid more for that one. But I honestly can't think of anything, a single shirt that I've paid that much more for, to be honest. I think as soon as I start to hit the £100 mark, I start to kind of like shake a little bit and get a little bit anxious, because I think, well, you know, I could be impatient and buy it now for that much, or what if I wait? And you know, sometimes it's worked out like that. I've thought, oh, I'm gonna wait, and then a week later I'll find the shirt I was about to pay silly amounts of money for a quarter. So you know, it's all swings and roundabouts. But as a general rule, yeah, I don't like paying that sort of money for a football shirt. So.
Do you have any fun anecdotes of how you acquired a shirt? I can't remember if it was yourself or not, but it was about a year ago that someone shared a shirt, and then someone who wore that shirt messaged them being like, "Oh my god, I remember this shirt. I played in it." I can't remember if that was yourself or not.
It was. Hang on a minute. Yeah. If this is the story you're thinking of, so this one.
Yeah.
So I acquired this again. This was a wife purchase for a birthday or Christmas, I can't remember. And she did good. This is a great shirt. And what's even better was the name set on the back, which I'll show in a minute. And, that's where the story is. So yeah, she got me for Christmas one year. And as I do with everything, I take a picture of it on my little Subbuteo pitch, get it onto Instagram for everybody to have a look at. And one of the things I do is I quite often tag some of the players that played in it. If I get a little like off a footballer or something, it's kind of cool. It's like a little nod. It's something nice. So I tagged this gentleman, Jonathan Akpabore, Nigerian striker. I tagged him in it. And all of a sudden, a little comment popped up on it, asking if it was for sale, which I thought was strange. And then when I looked again, I realised it was actually him. It really was actually him that was asking if it was for sale. So I basically said that I'll drop him a DM, and I had no interest in selling shit. I didn't really want to be honest. It was a gift from my wife. I even ended up telling her about it, and she said that the truth is, as much as it's a great shirt, it's a brilliant story as well to be able to say that you gave this shirt to the guy whose name was on the back.
Better story for telling to fuck off.
Yeah, that is true. Both worlds really, because we messaged back and forward a couple of times about the shirt, about the size, and I made sure he knew it wasn't match worn or anything like that. He didn't think I had one of his actual shirts, and he said no, that's cool. And then he gave me an address to send it to Germany, and then he never paid for it. Literally, I just never received the payment or a message again. So I thought, well, I'm not sending the shirt without ever hearing from him, because all I actually told him was all I want back for it was what my wife paid for it, which I think was about £30 or 25 quid. So I'm genuinely, I'm not a greedy person. I wasn't going to try and take him for everything he's got because I know he was a footballer or anything like that. I was literally like, you pay for postage, you pay me what I paid for it, and you can have it. Because the idea for me of sending it back to Akpabore himself was cool. I like that idea. But then, yeah, it went quiet. I never heard from him again. And I've still got a shirt. So I suppose, yeah. So, yeah, no, we're all good. But, yeah, no, that's probably the best story that I've got to kind of go with a shirt, really, because obviously it's not very often that happens.
So with your shirts, can you whittle down a top 3, top 5, or even if you do have a favourite shirt, but it's going to be like everyone's favourite thing, it changes daily.
Yeah, it does. It changes all the time. The one I'm wearing will always be in my top 5. It was my first Wizard shirt. So, for me, it's a special shirt in itself. And even if you don't take into account the actual shirt, if you know what I mean, the design. But yeah, no, this is definitely in my top 5. If anybody ever asks, this one is always in there. I could probably pull a few out now, and maybe just about keep maybe a top. I don't know. I don't want to limit myself and say I can do a top 5. I mean, I can go. What I can do is I can pull some out that I know are up there because it's an absolute 100%.
You just leave it as a free for all.
I was looking for it, and it shows how much it means to me because it's actually the only one that I've got in a dust cover in my whole collection. So that one.
Ooh.
It is a 1988 match-worn Cheltenham Town shirt. Cheltenham's the town I was born in. Still love the club. Still go when I can. Didn't get to go last season because obviously I was at Villa a lot last season. And having 2 kids and a wife makes it impossible to follow 2 clubs. But yeah, this shirt it means quite a lot to me actually because it was given to my dad by a guy called Pete, and Pete was the ball boy for Cheltenham Town, and until he was well over 70 years old. And yeah, he gave it to my dad. I'm not quite sure why, but he did. And it came directly from the club, obviously. Never found out exactly who wore it, although there is a gentleman from Cheltenham who messaged me on Twitter actually and sent me a programme from back in the 80s of the players. And we think that the player that, number 12 then could possibly have been one of them. But obviously back in those days, it could have been anyone really.
Yeah.
So that one will always be in my top 5. It's my hometown club. It's a shirt that my family have actually owned for a fair few years now after being given it. And yeah, it's actually the same season that Andy Gray played for Cheltenham Town. Would you believe? So not his number though, that much I know, because if it was an Andy Gray match worn, that would have been quite good.
Yeah, definitely.
So that one's up there, and then after that, I'll be honest with you, I think I'd find it hard to I definitely find it hard to pick a 5. I think I could probably go into my Bayern shirts, and maybe I would say
it's a cruel question, because I know if someone asked me, I don't have an answer. Like, I've got a few shirts which I know would be put in a collector's top 5 if someone was to say my top 5 shirts of all time. I have a couple that would fall in there, but me personally, like, because I like ones with, I like designs and stuff. So a 97 Borussia Mönchengladbach home shirt, I love it, and it's nothing special. It's a Reebok one, white and a black and green stripe up on either side. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know what you mean though. It's a difficult thing, and I think the beauty of it is as well, like, even if you asked any football shirt collector, football shirt fan, whatever, you don't have to be a collector, you can still just appreciate football shirts. If anybody was asked to name their top 50 football shirts, every single one would be so wildly different. You know, I think that you'd have the core that would be running through it. You know, I think most people would put, you know, at least that Holland 88 template in there somewhere, whatever variation of it was. And you know, the early 90s German shirts usually fall in there. That, you know, most people would pick an England shirt of some sort, maybe for nostalgic reasons and whatever. And then, you know, their own club would go in there. But then once you start kind of branching out after that, it becomes a bit of a free-for-all, and yeah, it would be wildly different from one collector to the next. And like I said earlier, that's one of the things I love about football shirt collecting. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It doesn't matter what anybody tells you. If you buy a shirt and someone tells you it's an awful football shirt, it's nonsense. It just means they do not like it. But if you like it and it's part of your collection, then, you know, it's a great thing. I love that. I mean, there are some kits that I've seen go on Twitter. I would never want to own them. I mean, you have one. You're guilty of this because you have one of the B-Dale shirts.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't that though. I do love them, and I would like to buy them, obviously, because I know there's also the charitable aspect of it. But I just love how out of left field they are.
Yeah, it's not my thing. Like, I'm not a big fan of like the food shirts. I'm not a big fan of the muscle shirts and the tuxedo shirts. I know there are guys out there that collect that sort of thing specifically, and, you know, all credit to them, because they're mad as shit. They really are. But it's just not my cup of tea, and you probably won't find me dressed as a carrot watching a game anywhere.
Why not?
I'm just not a big fan of carrots.
That's it.
But yeah, I mean, but with picking out my favourites, like you say, it is a difficult thing to do. It changes day to day. I reckon, you know, if somebody really put pressure on me, I could probably pick a top 50, top 20. Like I say, Bayern shirts, that's got to be in there somewhere. Again, I remember watching the 99 final with my dad as a Liverpool fan, watching United beat Bayern Munich, which was just, you know, it was agony for him. And that's a fond memory for me. My dad, who, by the way, still hasn't picked up the phone from me since Villa beat Liverpool 7-2. And that's a couple of weeks gone by now, and he will not speak to me. That's how much the football means to him. So yeah, that one would be up there. And then
he no longer has a son.
That's pretty much what it is. He'll speak to me after the return fixture if Liverpool win. But yeah, then everyone's favourite Bayern shirt, really.
Yeah.
That would be up there somewhere. But then, yeah, I think then when I start to kind of pick out my favourite football shirts, you know, some of them are like, in all honesty, I mean, I'll pick a few out in a minute just to show you sort of like some examples, but they're probably not what anybody would imagine me picking as my favourite football shirts. You know, I think that the problem you get when you're a collector is, like, I don't think it's just the design of the shirt which necessarily puts it into that sort of like that favourites category. Some of it is like how long you've tried to get it, or, you know, like you say, I mean, certain shirts are my favourites because they were such bargains. You know, when you pay £5-6 for a football shirt, it makes you love it that little bit more. Yeah. When I pay £120 for it, there's a little part of me that resents it. So yeah, it's a difficult one. But I mean, there's one that springs to mind. Okay, there are three. I lied. One of them is a real favourite of mine. It's a stunning football shirt, and I've got it in well, actually, no, technically, I've got one version and my wife's got another version of it. And that is this Besiktas shirt. The year escapes me, but it is perfect. It's brilliant. I've got it in long sleeve now. And I was going to sell the short sleeve just to keep, the numbers down. And I was about to list it, and my wife went, "Oh, actually, I really like that one. Can I have it?" And I was like, "Absolutely, yeah, of course you can." So my wife now has the short sleeve version of it. But that would if I had to pick a top 50 shirts out of my collection, that is going in there every single time. But I think if somebody else came into my collection of football shirts, that wouldn't be anywhere near the top 50, which is, that's the beauty of it. So there's that one. This one most people do like. Yeah. It's a stunning football shirt. 90s Umbro are brilliant. Brilliant name set to have on the back, just amazing. So that one would definitely be up there. But then this one, this is the one that I don't think anybody would pick in their top 50 football shirts, but it's up there for me, and it's this one. It's a Gangon shirt. It's not anything particularly special. God, I don't know what that was. It's not particularly special, but for me, the reason it is because I fell in love with this football shirt the second I saw it. It's inspired by that Adidas template that the '94 shirts for Germany were made in. And it's amazing. But I think the reason it goes up into my favourites for me is because it took me maybe 2 years to get one. I even tried to learn French to buy one through the club website, and in the end, by the time I got there, they wouldn't ship to the UK. And this was before I kind of had a lot of people I chat to on Instagram and Twitter to know someone to try and get it sent and so on. And then by the time that season was up, they didn't have any left. And Gangon shirts are not exactly easy to find anyway. If you go on eBay and have a look, there's not a stack of them on there. And then bizarrely, I probably paid more for this than it was brand new from the club, because I ended up buying it from someone in America, and with the postage on top, obviously it starts to add up. But yeah, like I say, that people probably look at, even others who follow me and have seen a lot of the shirts that I've got would probably go, really? That would go in your top 50? But I think, like I say, that's the beauty of it. It's not just about the shirt, it's about how you acquired it, it's about what it means to you. That's the best part. So yeah, that one would be in there for sure. But
very nice.
Yeah.
So last two questions. You have touched on it. Being a father, I know that your children both have little kit collections going, haven't they?
Yeah, they do. It's inevitable, really. Not just my little boy, my little girl as well. She, I love putting her in a little Villa kit or something, and I always say she's my good luck charm, because the first time I ever put a Villa shirt on for her was when we won the playoff final, and my wife was. She kept saying to me, let her get a bit older and decide if she wants to wear football shirts. And I was like, okay. She went out for the day, so the shirt went on. And that, I always say that she's my little good luck charm with the football, because ever since I started putting her in Villa shirts, Villa have actually got better. But yeah, no, they both do. Kids football shirts is an easy thing to kind of fall into as well, really, because it's something that it's not just me. Like my little boy Arlo now, he'll be 4 next year. So he's kind of at the age where he's starting to choose what he wants to wear now. And proudest moment ever was a couple of weeks ago when he said to me, "Oh, can we wear our Villa shirts?" And that's perfect. I'm like, yeah, absolutely we can. I'll never say no to that. So he like me, he is choosing to wear a Villa shirt. So it's great. And yeah, so no, he's inevitably built up a little collection. And the beauty of it for kids is it's not expensive. Like, it is such a cheap thing. They cost literally a couple of pounds sometimes. I've never particularly spent a large amount of money on any of the shirts for him. I think the most I've ever spent was buying him a current Aston Villa one in the second half of the season in the sale for about £21, because I think it was his first ever Aston Villa shirt, and I wanted his name and number 1 on the back, so we knew it was his first one. But yeah, so he's got a varied collection. Yeah.
I do. I am currently watching a shirt on eBay. It is one of my Holy Grail shirts, but obviously it's in a kid size. So I'll send it to you as maybe something to buy for him. Because although you want, it's not got his name on the back, but hey, it could be a name you end up calling him soon, and that's funny when you find out what the name is. So I'll quickly hold up to the camera now. Actually, one second. So.
I don't know why. As a parent, when you said it's something you might be calling him soon, I thought immediately, well, is this a name I might call him when he does something he shouldn't? And I wondered if it might be an old. Yeah, I'll let you go.
So,
Oh, okay, yeah. That's one of my Grail shirts as well. So,
and
yeah, that's exactly why I get it to be a Germany shirt, but that's even better actually.
yeah, I think it with postage it comes to £20.
How small a kit size is it? Because I can squeeze into them. You got to remember that.
Yeah, so that is the looking at it, the quality isn't phenomenal. Child small.
Yeah, I'm going to look at that. I mean, if you're not going to buy it and try and squeeze into it, then I'd be
it'd be a bloody vest up on me. So yeah, I'll send you the link. But finally, my last question, which I have saved till after asking about your children's collection because it could be tied. But what is your goal for your collection?
Oh, you get asked that quite a lot, don't you? It's quite a big thing. I mean, it's hard because the whole reason I decided to call it a collection and decide I'm collecting now, I'm not just buying a few shirts, like I say, is because the idea was, again, like you say, it's tied in. I've got my kids now, and the idea of having something when Arlo is older to kind of hand down to him would be amazing. So that was kind of like the reason why I did it. But I mean, as for a goal as such, I think that we, as collectors, I think we find mini goals within it. And like for me, the buying stuff, it was always one thing. Like I wanted to get every home shirt from the year I was born. That was where the buying thing started, and that was my goal for that. And with the Villa shirts, it was I started supporting Aston Villa in '94, so I decided to go back to the '93 season, and I wanted every home away and third shirt from '93, which I'm pretty close to now. I think I'm 3 shirts off it. But yeah, I think that the goals question is probably the most difficult one of all, because the truth is, I don't know if there is an end goal. I really don't, because the thing is, it's impossible. You can't complete football shirt collecting.
No.
And yeah, I mean, we all know the people that have come the closest, and they're still not even close to it. But I would say that the only goal is to not have so many my wife leaves me, and maybe not bankrupt myself trying to do it, which
they're pretty good goals, to be honest.
Yeah. I found a good balance with both at the moment. So, although I am being told soon I've got to convert the loft because it's starting to take up too much room. So, but yeah. And so yeah, I mean, goal, buy as many shirts as possible. That's it. And start ticking off more grails. I think that probably, in all honesty, would be my honest goal now, is to start ticking off more grail shirts, because it's kind of easy to buy bulk in football shirts. All joking aside, like we were talking about bargains, but anyone can go on eBay and you could go on, you can buy 10 different shirts for under a tenner easy. If numbers is what you want for your shirt collection, it is that straightforward. But I think that recently I've started to kind of focus a little bit more on, as I say, what we all call our grail shirts, which is why these ones have come along, and the other two, and a few Bayern shirts have kind of popped up that I've kind of put a little bit more into looking for, and it's not happened, and then all of a sudden they just kind of pop up. So it's a bit of luck as well getting them, but yeah, I think those ones, in fact, what, I think that was another one that was a bargain. I think I picked up the 92 Bayern home. I think I paid like 27 quid for it, maybe 30, including postage. Yeah. So again, bargains there on the old shirts as well, not just the new ones. But yeah, that's the goal. Grail shirts. Start ticking them off.
The moral of this conversation is that there are bargains to be had. So.
Yeah. You know what? If anybody who watches this, they'll probably get bored of hearing us say it. I genuinely hope that message does get through, because, like I say, it is a whole different sort of like conversation to have about the whole fake shirts thing. But that's always been my biggest argument, is that if you're patient and you don't have that sort of idea, well, I have to have it now, then you can get anything you want on a budget. And okay, I'm gonna be, I've been honest about it. Some of the shirts I have paid a bit more for, but that's when I've got impatient. The two other Wizard shirts that I got, I paid less than 100 for both of them together. So it can be done. The bargains are there. Don't get impatient.
I think that's a good closing sentiment. So, Mike, thank you for joining me. All your Twitter and Instagram, I will put them as the top 2 links of the description. So if anyone would like to go drop you a follow, if they're not already, then there is where you do so. My final question, actually, which I've been meaning to ask in the last 2 episodes, but I forgot, is obviously recent events in this year haven't been fantastic for all industries. I know, working in the hospitality industry, but one that has been hit the most and will probably be the last one to come back is the arts. So what I want to get the guests to do each episode is either recommend a song, album, or artist for if even one listener goes and listens to, it will make your day. So if what you're listening to on repeat at the moment, or if you have a particular favorite album, what is it?
So, my music tastes are eclectic, to say the least. Yeah. I tell you, if I had to pick one artist for, in fact, can I do 2? Right, I'm going to do 2.
2. I'll allow it.
Yeah, I'm going to do 2. I'm going to say that for a current band, listen to 21 Pilots. Fantastic band, absolutely brilliant, amazing band. Some wildly varying music from their early stuff to the new stuff, but it's just brilliant. And I find it hard to think that somebody wouldn't listen to something of theirs and go, actually, I really like that. Exactly that. Yeah. It's just brilliant. And then if you want to go back a little bit and listen to something, I would say listen to an album called Science by a band called Incubus, if you haven't heard of them already. Kind of a band that I grew up on. I'm in my mid-30s now, and when I was sort of like 15, 16, that was when these albums were around, and that album, and then from there on, is brilliant. Easily up again. My favourite bands, favourite musicians, favourite albums, just brilliant. So yeah, listen to that for definite.
Wonderful. So you've got your homework, everyone. So once again, Mike, thank you for joining me. If you'd like to follow him, description in the bottom, links in the description, as are mine. So if you want to follow me, why not? If you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe. I'm on 59 subscribers now. That's pretty cool. Next episode will be out next week. I'm about to record that in about 10 minutes from now. So I'm probably going to look the exact same. But yes, that is the art of staggered releases. But thank you very much for joining me, and bye.